What's up, you guys? It's Cole here, and today we'll be reacting to a video that has a title that kind of ruffled my feathers a little bit, kind of grinded my gears. But it also piqued my curiosity as a language learner because it's called Learning Languages Ruined My Life. And this has been absolutely blowing up recently. If you're into languages, you've most likely seen this in your recommended. So let's do it and see what this rather provocative title is all about.
In summer 2015, when I was walking by Magus Books, my favorite bookstore in Seattle, at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Why is this man going to a bookstore at 3 a.m.? What? Like, I don't know much about Seattle, I'll admit, but isn't the general consensus to not go out at night in big cities? But what do I know? This has nothing to do with the video. Let's just keep watching.
My eyes were immediately caught by the title of the book and the yellow glim behind the window. So I went there the next morning, bought it, and read it. The book is probably not the best collection of essays I've ever read, but the title has since then stayed with me. The Moral Obligation to be Intelligent. What does that have?
That's like the most pretentious title I've ever heard. The Moral Obligation to be Intelligent. I mean, they say don't judge a book by its cover, but that just sounds ridiculous.
Have to do with learning languages. Does speaking foreign languages make you more intelligent? It depends. Is the ability to speak another language part of intelligence? Not necessarily. But being intelligent and knowing foreign languages do share one thing in common. They're both painful.
Oh my god, that's so deep. But I'm really curious to see what point he's trying to make with this. Because you can tell this is a very carefully constructed monologue. So I don't think he would spend all his time making this just to go on a 4-minute rant about how learning languages is painful.
And by painful, I don't mean the ennui of tediously long lectures or vocabulary and grammatical studies, or the expense of time for the pursuit of wisdom and knowledge, nor even the loneliness your dedication to the endeavor could bring up on you.
This man is spitting straight facts, you guys. It's not really something that is talked about a lot, but learning a language can get pretty lonely after a while. Especially in the beginning, when you don't really have the confidence to go out and speak to other people in that language. You just feel like you're sitting in a room talking to yourself, doing an activity that you'll never even know if it'll bear any fruit or not, so to speak. But ironically, it's that same exact activity that brings us all together as humans.
The pain, the true torment, is the confusion. For the bigger the circle of the known, the greater the contact with the unknown. And the more firmly unlearned beliefs used to stand, the more helplessly your new identity totters.
I think what he's saying here is that the more you know, the more things that you learn, the more you realize just how much you don't know. And that is completely 100% true when it comes to languages and just about everything else. Think about it. There are over 7,000 languages in the world. But if someone says they speak 5 languages fluently, that's seen as really, really impressive. But in the grand scheme of things, that's really nothing. Even if you could speak 100 languages fluently, in the grand scheme of things, it's nothing. But does that mean it's meaningless? Absolutely not.
If you're lucky enough to study Farsi, you may realize that not all the beautiful poetry is written in your mother tongue. The Persian epics written in the Sassanid Empire are as beautiful as poems of the Tang dynasty. If you happen to study Spanish, you may realize that what you thought so unique an aspect of your culture has a similar counterpart in another culture. That the Puerto Rican morcilla is almost identical with the Korean sundae. If Russian is your language, you may realize that not all the important battles that changed the course of human history were fought on your native land. That the Russian defeat of the Golden Horde at the field of Culicova is no less significant than the reconquest of Granada in Spain. Can't you do this by reading history?
That is an incredible point. It really, I don't even know how to express this thought. It really makes you think about your fellow humans. Because all culture is derived from the same place, from humans, from us. And you may think that we're so different when we span the entire globe, when we speak different languages, when we think about certain issues a certain way, or we're superficially different in terms of appearance, or maybe we have different beliefs in another religion, but they all stem from us, from humans, and that shared humanity is something that becomes more profound as you study languages, and you realize just how similar we all are.
One may ask, yes, but history written by whom and for whom? Because you see, after learning a language, if you care enough, part of you becomes the member of the tribe to which the language belongs. And that cultural schizophrenia can be truly excruciating. That pain, however, can't be easily offset by the better chances of employment in your job market or the simple pleasures of impressing your friends at the dinner table with political intrigues and historical anecdotes played out in 5 different languages.
So what he's saying here again is that the true benefits that come from learning a language aren't the ones that you normally see. You could go online and type in what are the benefits to learning a language, and you'll see the same thing over and over again. Increased chances in the job market, increased travel opportunities, yada, yada, yada. And those things are so great, but they pale in comparison to the true connections that you're able to make with humans of another culture after you learn their language.
Why then would anyone who is not a crazy masochist want to learn a foreign language? Yes, to communicate with people. Yes, to travel to different places. Yes, to advance your career in a globalized world. Yes, it is good for your brain. But more importantly, as potentially excruciating as it is for those curious enough to see the world as it is, and those brave enough to tear down the veils of bigotry, instead of comfortably hiding behind the linguistic barrier and refusing to step forward and know your fellow human beings.
Hell yes, dude. Yes. He put it in such a beautiful way. To tear down the veils of bigotry by seeing everyone as they are, as fellow humans, rather than dividing ourselves with all of these superficial barriers that we've created for ourselves over the course of history. When we think about other cultures, why do we always automatically go towards negative stereotypes? When we don't know much about people, why do we automatically think negatively of them, even if it's just a joke? Especially when we're all pretty much the same. I'll never understand it, and this is one of the points of this channel. To get people to realize just how similar we all are. To create peace and understanding, mutual understanding between culture through language and through other means. That is the way forward. That is what we need to do in the next century.
Or even the so-called enemies. I am by no means accusing those not fond of foreign languages of being cowards. If anything, they have to be forever more on their guard of the bigotries, the fatuities, and the language barrier, and constantly seek more reliable sources of information. Indeed, the pursuit of knowledge is almost by definition a sort of masochism, and language learning is no exception. But in such pain, and perhaps only in such pain, can we overcome the misunderstandings, bridge cultures and civilizations, and find a world of peace and prosperity.
Wow. Just wow. I would highly encourage you guys to check out this video, even though you've already seen this video, because there's something really powerful about just sitting through it in its entirety. It sends an incredibly powerful message that I think everyone in this generation should see and understand. This idea that before anything else, we should identify with each other and sympathize with each other as fellow human beings. And then, and only then, will we be able to make progress towards a more peaceful and prosperous world. Thank you so much for watching.